All right, in this video, we're going to be looking at containers. Containers are really interesting because they allow your content to expand and contrast in a fluid manner, depending on how you see fit. And that's just a very, very useful thing when you are dealing with multiple screen sizes. Then we're going to look at the docs. Always got to look over the docs because sometimes Stack Overflow doesn't have everything you need. And then we're going to look at some exercises. And of course, we're going to have some basic ones, but then I got a special one at the end with Bernie. And let's rock and roll. All right, now that we have Chakra Man floating on the left side of the screen, we now could look at the container. The container in the doc says that they're used to constrain the content's width to a current breakpoint while keeping it fluid. Fluid is the important thing because there are multiple ways someone could view your content, right? It could be a small, tiny phone, or it could be a humongous, giant, 9-foot wide monitor. And so you're going to want to keep your, branding and all that fluid as these, screen sizes get bigger and get smaller. It says also by default, it sets the max width of the content to 60 characters, but you could customize it with max width. We're going to see that later on. So let's look down here. Import's the same. It's given us this example. There's a container. There's no props being thrown in here right now. And it just has some cool text in here. I'm not going to bother reading it. But this is, the most basic vanilla example, I guess, possible. So let's go ahead and look at the next section of this. This is what I'm going to dive in on later when it comes into our examples. And this is the container size. And so you could override that 60 character width by using a max width here, and we can see container.small is the smallest, and it goes up to extra large. And yeah, so we're going to see an example of that in just a moment here. Looking at the centering children, this is really cool because not only is it, a container, but you could also take your content and center it. And if you looked in the previous, tutorial and went through there, you could see that there was center, but we also covered square and then circle as well. So it's kind of nice that a lot of these things just like to center stuff for you because, well, as developers, we like to center a lot of things, and why can't everything center? So we could see some other props down here. We could see that there's the center content, color scheme, size, variants. Some of them may have to extend the theme. We're not going to go over that in this video, but just know you could do some extra cool things with it. So let's get to programming now. All right, so in this first practice video, what we're going to do is look at a container, and we're just going to go through all the different container sizes and then discuss and show what happens if you don't give it that max width. And then in our second example, I'm going to do something that involves my dog because I oddly love him more than anything. So let's go ahead and get to coding this first example, and then we'll talk through it afterward. All right, so now what we see here is the containers we have. I know these are kind of scrunched up. Let me at least visually try to space these out for y'all. I know when I save, it's going to jam them back together. But we could see we have all of these containers. We have the extra large. We have large. Let me retype this to medium. And then our small. And then right there, we just have content. So as we expand this on out, we could see here that the extra large in its fluid manner will expand out to like this width here. Now this is kind of a large screen. So If you want it to go all the way out, you may not want to use this kind of container or set your max width to a different value. Maybe an actual percentage or something along those lines there. But we could see that everything comes in here. And even though there isn't a container.sm for small here, this content right here still is fluid to a certain degree. It's not like as far as the small, but this is that 60 character width it was discussing. I believe 60 was the value here. And so these are containers. They're actually quite useful. And if we wanted to as well, another benefit is we could also center the content. And so let's do that really quickly. And we could see that we get this freebie right here, the center content, for free, which is really cool as well. So this is the very basic introduction to containers. And the next section, let's do something fun and interesting involving a picture of my dog Bernie. All right, so in this example, we're going to have a container, and then inside of it, we're going to put a box inside. Then we're on the left side, we're going to have a picture of my dog Bernie. And on the right, we're going to have a circle with some text in there. And the real reason for doing this is because I want to show that fluid feature. So I'm going to start the screen really, really small over here. I'm going to afterward expand it and then show you what that does to your content. So let's get to coding. And now we have this right here on the left side. We have my dog Bernie. Previous picture, you've probably seen of him in my tutorials. And this circle instead of a square, and it says boot me. I can make you click on it if you want, or I could make it so I could click on it. And I'm not much of a designer, but I think this is going to be a powerful way of showing what a container could do. So if I just had these items out here, they may just be kind of static and set to this size. But because I have this container, I got the flex going on in here. Let's expand this out. And so as you get to your desktop experience, imagine your business's content right here, or one of those stock photos. And on this right-hand side, you have who knows what, like our business people are more businessy than your business people or the average business person, right? And for me, it's just my dog and some silly stuff over here. But imagine you having your own business stuff or your own website or whatever it is you're trying to sell or get people to contact you over. And now, when they look at their mobile screens here, everything shrinks down. It's nice. It's awesome. They'll get through their tablet and everything just smoothly expands and then contrasts as it needs to. And that's part of the power of using containers. And if you like this stuff, like, share, subscribe. I'll check you in the next one.